Hello YouTube, how you doing Earthlings? All Earthlings, yeah, blimey. Well, last video, which incidentally I'm uploading at the moment, I've done about a couple of weeks ago I think, with me making my second character, which I'll show you a bit later on. I want to talk about him, but and I haven't actually watched it back again recently. I should have watched it back before I uploaded it. But since then, the world has changed quite dramatically. As I speak now, there's over 1 million people have been confirmed cases, but it's probably 10 times that, 100 times that maybe. But anyway, I wanted to do this video. I want to talk about other things as well. I want to talk about the sport, I want to talk about my sculptures as well, I want to talk about other little bits and pieces, but mainly I want to just do a little sort of documenting of the events so far for myself really, and for people that want to watch them, about the coronavirus really, and the COVID-19, which I was calling COVID-19 for quite a while, but call it birdies already. Well, I mean, all the animals already possibly in the firing line because of it, but I mean that's how it started. It started in a Chinese wet market, they call it, where they have live animals ready to be killed and for the food industry, monkeys and things, and just all sorts of live animals, snakes and lizards, and it's a horrible place. But, so people spread about around the world, and gradually it's gone up through Europe, and now it's going around the world, and it's going to be. I think we've had in the last day we've had 559 people have died. So that's going to double again by tomorrow, and then that will double again. It's going to be until that plateau settles out. But yeah, so we've kind of got to a sort of a point now where we're kind of knowing how it's kind of transmitted, and what can protect you, and what to do to protect yourself. I'm going to try and sort of go through to see. I've got BBC News on in the background all the time, mainly because I want to. Because we've been doing a clap for causes thing. I want to catch that just very quickly before. I want to try and get onto that and turn it up a little bit so you can hear that, because this is the second week we've been doing the clap for causes, where we're sort of applauding the. Well, first week it was the NHS workers, but this time it's for all the key workers, really. It's for all of the shop workers and all of the posties and the bin men and etc. But there's also, there's an army of people that keep the NHS working as well. And there's all those people. There's the care workers, the shop workers. Already said that. There's everyone that's still working, keeping the country going. People in government, people in the media, and the whole lot really. And people at home doing programming for for charities or something, or work for charities, and just making things. And we're not all key workers really, but they're all doing something for the NHS and the other people. But anyway, all just important. Masks. I started wearing this mask. I've been using this for my dentistry for ages, but so it's quite a good quality one. But they're saying now a face covering is good enough, a scarf or something, and I've got glasses on, but if you can sort of wear glasses or something, because there's no point having a face mask if you haven't got your eyes covered as well. But if you have something on your hands, you just really don't want to touch your eyes at all. But having a mask, sometimes you fiddle about with a mask. But don't get. They're saying these days don't buy the surgical masks, because the medical services need those at the moment. So just even make your own mask or wear a scarf or something. So I don't have a cane. Daisy. But yeah, the main thing is just keep washing your hands. You know, I've seen a person walking around Tesco's with a full, plastic goggles on, the full plastic, the clear plastic goggles and mask on. But you don't need to start getting a false sense of security as well, just having a mask on and thinking you can still just touch things. Cause getting it into your eyes, it doesn't go through your skin, but getting into your eyes or your mouth, possibly your nose as well, breathing it in as well. But you've got to keep distance from people, but you don't realise that even talking, if saliva comes out, which I never talk about, but also smoke. When smoke comes out, you get more distribution as well. But sort of staying 2 metres away from people is a very good idea. But packaging food, when you go out shopping, I used to wear this when I went into Lidl, and I didn't on a few occasions. I mean, just had a mass bundle into Lidl's when it opens up. I've been trying to get hold of some bread and that. But I used to start wearing this mask in Lidl's, but then I found I couldn't wear it with my glasses on, because my glasses would steam up. So I take my glasses off, and that's what defeats the object really. But it does kind of protect you if someone sneezes or coughs on you, or talks in your general direction, whatever. But even just a scarf, I just have a scarf on these days that you can pull up, but it's still not going to protect your eyes. Just turn away from people if you can, and you're not going to breathe it in really. Because I go out doing a little bit, they're telling you these days just go out, exercise and shopping, because I can't do any of these home shopping things unless when they deliver it to you. So I've been going out to Lidl and Tesco's pretty much every day really. But I'm surprised I haven't got it myself really. So I'm not the tidiest person. I mean, I've got my hand wash here, which I made myself. It's isopropyl alcohol, which is 99% alcohol. We call it isopropanol as well, and IPA and rubbing alcohol. But I mixed it 25% with some soap. I've got some hand lotion in here, which is strawberry and vanilla, and some shower gel, which is nice coconutty. It really smells nice when it dries, but it just evaporates off your hands, so you can clean your hands with them quite often, and it just evaporates away. And then I can also rub down the bottle as well, and I can use it in this as well as just a spray of it. I've got one of those in my bag. I've got another one of these in my kitchen, and one in my bathroom for when as soon as I've come in off my bath from being outside, I can clean my hands as well. Yeah, that smells really nice. And the transitional part, when the isopropyl alcohol is just evaporating away. It smells like hospitals, you know. I mean, it's really nice. But yeah, it's great. So I'm quite happy to be able to touch my hands and face now, I think. Obviously, it's probably on my clothes, you know what I mean? I'm touching my clothes all the time, so why I haven't had it already. I mean, I had a little bit of a sore throat a few weeks ago. I've got a little bit of a smoker's cough, so every now and again. So I've been trying to disguise my cough with farts. No, joking aside. Another thing with this stuff, I've had to take the rings off because I've been getting sort of black rings around my fingers where the skin's sort of died. It's just ended up flaking off basically, as you can see quite a bit there. I don't know if I'm actually zoomed in on any of this, but yeah, it's sort of flaking off now. But I'm going to leave my rings off while I'm doing this. These are probably just brass, these two. This is a cheap all of the rings run, and I think that might be silver. But yeah, all of them I was getting the marks, so I'll be taking them off now. Been getting arthritis these days. I mean, I've been diagnosed with arthritis. Because I've been a dental technician for 30 years, been doing that, and before that I was making models all my life and mucking about with things with my hands all the time, and on the computer now as well, so I've been getting arthritis in my hands. It started when I was having my shoulder problems, actually, but I've been thinking about it. It's been going for quite a few years, but recently it's been going on. You know, been every week or something, or a couple of times a week. I've been having flare-ups where loads of my hand will just sort of become numb and swollen up, and sort of like a claw, sort of. But it's going to work out like that eventually. You know, the recent one was in my wrist here, and all over the place. But hopefully nothing else turn up. It's all right now. The shoulders of this one's pretty much healed up now. And this one, I think I jolted it again this morning when I was out doing my exercise and going to the shops. When I was just happened to feed some birds. I was going past, and I think I've done me harm again, but I don't know. So yeah, it's a quite a strange world. I mean, there's no other news at the moment. There's no wars anywhere. There's no famine. There's no all sorts of all the other stuff that's happening in the world now. There's no Kurd problem anymore. There's no. I don't know how wars work, and now there's an epidemic of a pandemic of worldwide pandemic, especially all around the world really. United States, I just had some people on about masks earlier on, talking about how you shouldn't, you shouldn't use the surgical ones, and you should just use a scarf or something. But then saying Donald Trump coming on saying, look, states, you should have started making these respirators, these what do they call them, ventilators. It's not up to us, the federal government, right? Sort of passing the buck. It's all like, I don't really think the British government have got their act together at all. I mean, Germany are doing something like, was it 500,000 tests a week, and the UK government are hoping to get up to doing actually 100,000 total by the end of the month, which is just crazy. What's the date at the moment? Let's have a quick look. It's only the 4th. Wow. So all they're testing is patients and NHS staff, and the NHS staff have to go for a drive-in sort of thing. But what's to stop them getting it the hour after they've done the test? It's crazy. But anyway, the antibody test as well. There's antibody test out now, but apparently that's not very accurate, and it's worse having an inaccurate result than it is having a test at all. They're saying, which I can understand. Yeah, packaging. When you go shopping, I was talking about earlier on, packaging. Apparently, it stays on absorbent surfaces less for less time than hard surfaces like plastic or metal and plastic. Apparently, it can stay up to a week, but absorbent surfaces it'll be less. So they're saying that. I mean, I haven't done it myself, but you should sort of quarantine stuff or clean stuff down before, and then wash your hands after you've handled the stuff. But then handle the stuff and then wash your hands before you've eaten your food. But then I think you're touching your hands, and you're touching all sorts of your clothes and your work surfaces, all sorts of things. I don't know. And they say apparently everyone's going to get it eventually, but they've just got to try and get it in as little a dose as possible. I think that's the general consensus at the moment. So hopefully I've had a very sort of mild dose, and I've had it already. But I mean, I can't even remember what the flu is, to be quite honest. I haven't had it in decades. Since I've been, I hasten to say, since I went vegetarian probably. But and colds, I can probably count on one hand how many colds I've had in my entire time as well, and probably about one since I've been vegan, and that's about 10 years now. All right, Rosie, you've got some fresh water down there. I'm doing a little video at the moment. Anyway, how long is this video on for so far? I'm going to have to limit time. It's 15 minutes so far, approximately. So, I've been listening to this. What else have I got to talk about? That's right, coronavirus. It's going to be like, if it goes on for that a year or something, half the time, there's going to be people sort of emerging, and then suddenly at the end of it, they're allowed out of the house again. There will be people who are emerging out of the dark and sort of blinking, and all this long hair, because they haven't been able to go to the barbers, and the beards, and pasty white, and all this really like babies or like walking out for the first time and like not knowing that you are able to touch people, or thinking that everyone just avoids people all the time and has to stay away from people all the time, and they think all of this things they see on TV, all the old footage are just sort of made up, and it's all like a fancy world of all cuddling and hugging and kissing each other. was quite funny. And what was it? Yeah, what was it? Quite funny things I've been talking about these days. Or it'd be funny if all hemp users, I'll say, or all vegans or immune to it or something. I don't know. I don't think that would be the case. It would be quite funny. There's a series called Pandemic, actually, on Channel 4. My very good neighbour has just put it onto his Netflix. I'm all a bit bemused by it all, to be quite honest. I'm a bit. I've been trying to. I plugged an Ethernet cable into my router that my mate's finally paying for at the moment, so I can get Vodafone Connect. To be honest, it has been very connecting. It connects in very well recently, but that's understandable. And I plugged it into my back of my computer. It's a great big long one. It's about like a 10-metre cable, I think, Ethernet cable. Might try a shorter one actually. I plug it in, but it still drops out, and I don't know how to. So I don't want to start I'm disconnecting from the service or disabling my Wi-Fi, because it might not start again. So I'm all confused about that. I don't understand all these new viewing options you have on TV and computers these days. I'm used to the Freeview on my TV, and so I'm going to have a look at Netflix. He gave it to me, and then I end up downloading the last episode of Picard anyway, so I've got that to watch it. But anyway, before I babble on, I've got to get this quickly. This is how far, well, pretty much, almost. Where can I see? Can I see? Oh, I can't see the screen. There we are. Down a bit further. And zoom in. Okay. Yeah, this is the Bane character I was doing from the Thomas Covenant Chronicles. In fact, I'm going to have it on the background quietly. I'll go back a couple of minutes, because I want the people to hear, because the people that are in the know about the Thomas Covenant Chronicles will know there's audio books, and they might have listened to some of them. I've heard all of the first Chronicles, which was John Chancellor. That was very good, the first and second Chronicles. And then the third Chronicles, it was I've got Scott Brick's versions, but then there's 4 books in the last series of the last Chronicles, and the third one is weirdly done by another guy called Tim Gerard Reynolds. For the first 2 have been American. Scott Brick has been especially very good. A lot of the accents and the wording, the names of the characters and that, and the species and the races and that, the way he pronounces it have been very, very accurate, I think. But then suddenly just go on to a Northern Irish, I think it's a Northern Irish or Irish anyway, voice actor. It's quite funny, and I want people to listen to this a little bit.
The word largely
Turn it down a little bit.
Martyr had placed himself like a guard.
So hopefully you can hear me still, so I'm going to try and go a bit some more. So yeah, this is Bane. He's like he's a Demonian spawn. He's basically just all matter, and he's just solid and power and that. And he's got these bands from this staff of law on his right hand, and he ends up but he ends up he turns into a staff basically. But he's like a all-powerful creature and wearing a short grey tunic. And he's just dark as night, and but he's got these weird staring eyes, these big black staring eyes. His face isn't how I imagined it, but he's got this like permanent grin, and he's just like looks like he's been carved out of granite as a most perfect specimen of a human. And he's always standing as if he's poised and ready for action, for which he has quite a bit of action in the books, but you have to read. So I made all his body, and then I've got a sheet of this dad's clay, the white stuff over there, and then moulded a bit more of the back of it, and then sort of rubbed it down a bit, painted him up, and I want to do some eyelids. I think I've got to give him some eyelids. I like how his dark charcoal paint has sort of made his hair go a bit darker. I might have to do a bit more of that.
The openness to corruption is his.
This is the giants now. Irish giants, Irish haruchai, Irish no, not Irish haruchai, Irish ramen. an Irish trains to both of them really, but it's quite funny, and it's a lot speaking a lot quicker as well. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with my Bane. I've made a bit more detail in his foot, as you can see, and done his hands. I actually cheated with his hands a little bit. I've done a mould from Thanos' hands. My Thanos SH Figure Arts figure, which I thought came out pretty good, you know what I mean. It's still quite a delicate thing I had to do. His belt here, which is unfortunately coming apart a little bit, is just a bit of but it's just a bit of duct tape sort of folded round, and yeah, I'll have to redo that, I think. And this is just a bit of the sticky, chromy metal tape you get, that thickness, just folded over and stuck on. Yeah, anyway, that's Bane. There's just a bit of sand on the bottom there. I haven't glued it down yet, and so he's just got his pins on the bottom of his feet. These bases are coming from China. He's made out of a really nice dense wood. Yeah, really pleased with how he's come out.
For God's sake as well as her own, she insisted that she was culpable.
He's together with our NOM. Vain is actually going to be, I think, probably up to about NOM's shoulders, because NOM is about sort of human height, and I always thought of Vain as being a little bit shorter than, you know, about 5'2" or something.
With a visible effort, the main troll lowered his voice. Mischance alone released the Neil from storm past Galesen's protection.
But yeah, so I haven't disappeared, so I'm still here. Anyway, there's a bit of Thomas Covenant. Right, I want to keep my ear out because I want to get the clap and that on them. Right, let me just unplug my phone because it doesn't work unless I unplug it. Right, so there's Vain I've still got to do. My mate told me about yeah, I can see it obvious now. Boss side Thanos I've got to do. I've still got to do Yoda's face. I want to show me Mum that I can actually get him done. I've got the BB-8 a bit more together. So these two are now what I consider finished. I think the one on the right might be a little bit boss-eyed still, but the one on the left definitely isn't. That's definitely my favourite one. The more I'm looking at them, and now I've sort of forgotten, I haven't watched Endgame or Infinity War or anything for quite a while. They look a lot more like Thanos to me, especially one on the left. I think it is. Yeah, I think they both really look like Thanos, and well, they all three of them do really. But I think, yeah, I've been thinking about doing ET, but you know, just a sort of 37-year on ET from when I've done the first one. But at the moment, I'm not really doing anything. I haven't really done any videos for quite a while, but you know, I get about a subscriber about every month, I think. And welcome to all the new subscribers. This is my view. And thank you for subscribing and watching my videos all about completely different subjects. I mean, sports just completely stopped with the Six Nations I was talking about last time, and that's probably going to be unresolved now. Not really worried about the football so much, but no sport at all. No sport. It's quite weird. No gatherings of any kind whatsoever, no concerts, no. It's quite weird. There's so many businesses that are going to go out of business. Very strange. It's quite a weird time for the world. Hopefully it might sort of get a bit of empathy going, but I don't know. Just because I read that the World Health Organization are saying that out of the 6 major viruses we've had outbreaks in the last well, in the last century, I suppose, or however long they've been recording it, the World Health Organisation. 5 of them have come from our contact with animals when we're processing them for food and that. So maybe it is time to go vegan. I mean, there's not much of a chance for trying to get a vegan message out these days. I mean, it's kind of sort of all taking a back step at the moment with all these people dying. There's going to be a lot of unhappy people, and a lot more very depressed people. That's another thing I want to talk about as well. I mean, I've talked about it before, but you know, I've been self-isolating, trying to keep away from people, and not really wanting to go out supermarkets and that. But that's been me for years now, probably. You know what I mean? And everyone else is just sort of coming into line now, and suddenly all these other illnesses and diseases and illnesses and things have all become a little bit less important. We've all had to sort of grin and bear all our other things. Because I'm supposed to be getting a rheumatology appointment. I got one in February, and then it was cancelled a little while ago, which is understandable. And to talk about my arthritis. And also I've got other things that as well I'd like to talk about, but there's going to be no contact with healthcare professionals. Let me find another stand. I've got another little stand. Let me just get this one back up again, maybe. But anyway, I think I should probably. My camera's not going to take any more than about another 5 minutes, I think. So, mate, if I do cut off early, I do appreciate you watching my videos. I hope that you find them interesting. And, you know, be careful out there. If you are out there, be careful in here. If you're in a flat, get out, you know. Don't go mad in your flat on your own. If you have got a garden, use your garden. Get deliveries if you can get deliveries. Be careful going out shopping. Most of the shops these days, I think, are pretty well stocked up. I've been told by my Lidl I can buy more than my 2 loaves of bread again if I want, because I think they're probably throwing away stuff at the end of the day these days. But I don't know. But he said while it's there, buy it. But I probably wouldn't buy any more than 3 anyway, and just make sure one's hidden away underneath or something. But yeah, all eBay is going to be affected. People don't want to buy things from people anymore. I think I've ordered some leaf cuttings actually. They haven't arrived yet. I have to go and check in the post box. But yeah, I just don't see any of that these days. It's like emerging into the 28 days later. Every morning, waking up thinking you're the only person alive. It's just quite mental when you go in the mornings. But it's really nice having this applauding, this clapping for causes. They're calling it. Clap for causes. No, clap for carers. Clap for carers. That's it. For the NHS, and for all of your key workers, and it sort of makes you realise that as everyone is actually still alive and out there, you know, whether they have to try and struggle to the windows from their bed or are quite healthy still. I think it's probably might be a case of it spreading about a bit more with all these people appearing outside their doors, especially sort of a couple of terrace houses with the front doors right next to each other. It could be quite awkward, but maybe go out in your back garden and do it. I don't know. But it is heartwarming. I actually had quite a few tears earlier on when people standing outside the hospitals and the you know, doing it, and all of the in the supermarkets, and they were talking about, I just think some heartrending stories really, showing that, you know, maybe most people aren't arseholes after all. There was the C word that I would have used, but I mean, even though my videos are adult content and 100% of adults watch my videos and 100% male, I think, you know, it's the odd profanity might slip in every now and again. But anyway, So yeah, I've been doing these physio as well because I've been having this problem with my left leg, left hip. But apparently it's just muscle weakness from me being sitting about so long for years and whatever. When I had 6 months when I'd just be sitting about, hardly going out at all really. But I've been doing these like exercises, these sorts of things, very basic. Hello Daisy, she wanted to come and have a look as well. That's me. Yeah, that geezer who done his entire holiday looking at himself. Yeah, so and hopefully my legs. Well, I was doing them when I was having the appointments, and I missed the last appointment unfortunately, so I'm on the blacklist. But I've started doing them again within the last few days, just because I'm in need of extra exercise. Because I'm not. Well, I am going out, once or twice a day trying to feed the birds, but it's like a few people walking about on the Thames path. There's one person there. But most people who live along here live in flats, so it's understandable that there's a few people out jogging and whatever. I see quite a few people walking up and down the stairwells, doing their jogging up and down there. But yeah, very rarely see people these days. You do notice there's a lot more people with the amount of electricity that's being used and all the lights on in the flats and that. Anyway, very weird, very strange. Yeah, don't trust a lot of the governments and what they're doing and saying, and the leaders and that. And, they could all do a lot better. Don't trust Putin, don't trust Trump, don't trust Boris Johnson. And the Brazilian one, crikey. I don't know what he's all about. But anyway, I think I'm probably going to sign off now. I think I've talked enough. I need a drink. I might have to start doing some farts to cover my cough if I... I heard that. I read it, so I've done a post on one of my YouTube comments, and I didn't really get it. You get the people cough to disguise their farts, don't they? But anyway, yeah. Well, while I'm still here, quickly, I'm just gonna show you me plants. They probably changed quite a bit since I last showed him to you. My neighbour down below, wonderful Rob, is the way he grows his plants. They're like twice the size of the ones I've got. I've got a really nice new one now. I've got, I can't remember what it's called though. Yeah, my ponytail. No, that's a donkey's tail. And my really nice string of pearls one. Yeah, so I've managed to finally get another one of these golem Cressula, are they? I think I can't remember now. Cressula, I don't know. I can't remember what the Latin word is now. But anyway, the same as jade. But the yeah. So what's another one of those shooting? Another one of those. These ones here along the way as well. These are still straight. Well, this one's not quite so, but I'm trying to. They've got quite tough. But anyway, yeah. These are sort of the size of these Titanopsis ones. The ones in the background there. Oh, why has it gone widescreen? There we go. I don't know why that happened. I've got another flower on here for my Christmas one. They all happened about a month to a couple of months ago. And one's just decided to pop up. There's another one down there. That's pretty cool. Easter cactus now. Yeah, so there's another new one there. I do like that one. Yeah, these string of dolphins. I don't seem to want to grow in earth, but I'll show you. There's ones on my balcony, on my shelf in the kitchen in some water, and they're just sprouting like a good one. A little spider. I hate having to turn these plants because I'm destroying their webs and things. And then I've got the conundrum of catching flies and putting them out, and denying food to spiders. That's a real bad one. But I just catch the flies and put them out anyway. I'm not going to catch them all, or else there wouldn't be spiders here. Oh, hello Daisy, little squeaky Daisy. Yeah, so these are them. There's my little Groot with his head. Yeah, so my plants, you can see those ones. I've got these ones off my neighbour. There you go, where's my finger? There we go. They're still about the same size. And these bear claw ones, I think they're bear claw, yeah. Yeah, there's a few new ones, a few have disappeared because they've died. Oh, that's that other golem. Right there. Yeah, good stuff. And I've got another one in the kitchen, and like I said, another one of these. So yeah, I think yeah, because my neighbour's got one of these, and it's grown a lot larger, but a lot more spread out. Mine seems to be a bit more compact. I don't know, but it's much smaller. I don't know if that's going to end up growing the same as my neighbour's one. But it'd be good. Interesting to find out. I had a bit of unfortunately the mealy bugs have got in here as well. Oh dear. So I squirt it with apparently shiny leaves. They don't like shiny leaves, so I spray them with some soapy liquid which makes the leaves shiny and they can't live on them. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Goodbye from the cats, goodbye from me.